Alright, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Link to the Care Marathon. I am M2338, and you are about to watch a fantastic speedrun, hopefully. Alright, first off, let me go ahead and create a new file here. Really happy to be back here for the third time in a row. And, alright. So before the run begins, time starts when I start moving on the world map, and to get past that, I have to get past about a 2-minute cutscene. So, if we're ready to go, I'm gonna go ahead and hit OK. Alright, hello everybody, my name is M2338, and this is New Super Luigi U for the Nintendo Wii U. This is the DLC for the Wii U game New Super Mario Bros. U, where everything between the two games are relatively similar. The levels are different, but the levels are similarly themed to each other. New Super Luigi U has a gimmick where every level has 100 seconds for you to beat, so all the levels are really short, and has added increased difficulty for all the levels. Luigi also plays differently. He jumps higher, he has floatier jumps, he also slips more, so he's harder to control throughout the game. So this is an overall harder game. The category that I'm running is all castles. In the 80% run of this game, you skip worlds 2, 3, 4, and 6. And in this category, we do all 8 of them. So it's essentially a warpless category with about one exception. And, so I ran the deluxe version of this game for the Nintendo Switch last year, and then 2 years ago, I ran this version, the Wii U version. And, in the Wii U version, the world record at the time, 2 years ago, was 101.51, and now the record is 101.26. It doesn't sound like a big deal. 25-second difference does not seem like a big deal, but in this category, it's a huge deal because this category is extremely optimized. A lot of stuff has changed since my run from 2 years ago. Okay, time's about to begin really shortly. Alright, ready, set, go. Okay, so we're starting off in 1-1, and the first thing that I'm going to do in this level is power up. I am going to get the main power up of this game called the Super Acorn. The Super Acorn allows me to turn into a squirrel and fly through the levels with the right movement. And this power up is very important, that we're going to be keeping this power up throughout basically the whole run. Hopefully. So that was 1-1. As you can see, it's a really... the levels are really short with the 100-second time limit. And now we're moving on to 1-2, which is our first somewhat difficult level to do. I'm going to get a star at the beginning of the level, and I'm going to try and chain it with another star, if I'm fast enough. And that's going to make the last part of the level easier and faster to go through. Okay, just like this. Without a star, that part right there is really hard to go through. The star allows you to turn invincible, and also allows you to move quicker as well. So I'm able to tank through some of those enemies right there. So normally in 80% we get the secret exit of this level, but now we're getting the normal exit because we're trying to get to the castle as fast as we can. Coming up in 1-Tower is going to be our first use of another character named Nabbit, first introduced into this game. If I hold ZL as I'm selecting the level, then the game gives me temporary use of Nabbit. Nabbit can't die, essentially, so you're going to see in a bit I'm going to be running through a bunch of things that would otherwise die from. And that is what Nabbit is used for here in this level. As you see, I'm running through all these enemies right here, otherwise I'd be, like, getting hit by these enemies if I was playing as Luigi. So essentially, Nabbit's kind of like your easy mode of the game. And so, a lot of people like to argue that, like, oh, if Nabbit can't die, wouldn't it be faster to use Nabbit for every single level? And the answer is no, because one of the downsides for using Nabbit is he does not use the benefits of any of the power-ups in this game at all. So, for levels that are a lot faster with Luigi, we'll be using Luigi, and then vice versa. We use Nabbit for levels where there's a lot of enemies where, with Luigi, you have to go a bit out of your way to avoid them. Alright, so that was the halfway mark of World 1. Now we're progressing to the second half of World 1 here, 1-3. 1-3 introduces these rolling hills, and one of the mechanics of this game is when you spin jump off of anything that's moving, such as these rolling hills, then you actually preserve some of your speed right here, just like this. So it saves about a few seconds here and there. There is another level coming up later on where you're going to be seeing a pretty good example of keeping your momentum allows you to save quite a bit of time. Alright, so this is a split path between two different levels, and you need to do one of those levels in order to access the castle. And we're going to do 1-4 first, for two reasons. One, if I do 1-5 on the left, then I have to avoid a Piranha Plant, which is slow, and then two, 1-5 is also a slower level in general. There's a bunch of those situations where you have to pick the faster of the two levels, and just from playing the game multiple times, you just kind of figure out which is the better level to do. Alright, so this is our first out of 8 castles that we're going to be doing in the run, hence name all castles, just Lemmy's Castle. This is a pretty straightforward level otherwise. These levels are supposed to be harder than your mid-tower levels, but this one in particular is relatively straightforward. We just glide through everything here. And we're about to fight our first major boss. And our first major boss is always a Koopaling. In this particular castle, our first Koopaling is going to be Lemmy Koopa. So the Koopalings have their own airship, and we fight all the Koopalings in their own airship, as you can see here. Oops. Alright, so this is Lemmy Koopa, and as usual for boss fights in a lot of Mario games, their boss fights are relatively consistent as long as you fight them all the same way. You just kind of, whenever you hit them, they're gonna like spin around, and then if you know when exactly they're going to come out, then you can just hang around the spot they're going to come out of the shell, and then just hit them as soon as they come out. So that was World 1 completed. And we have 7 more worlds left to go. So there's 3 different ways to play this game. There is the gamepad, Pro Controller, and the Wii Remote. I am using the Wii U gamepad to play this game, not because I prefer the gamepad, but because using the gamepad allows me to use the touchscreen on the gamepad to select options for text boxes and menuing. And over the course of the run, it adds up to save several seconds over the course of the run. Now we're in World 2, the Desert World, Layer Cake Desert. Not a whole lot to say for these first 2 levels here. Something you're seeing me do at the end of every level is, it doesn't matter which part of the flagpole that I hit them in, even if it's on the very top, as the flagpole and Luigi both go down at the same time. So even if I get the bottommost part of the flagpole, I still have to wait for the flag to ascend upwards. And then also I'm turning backwards to save a few frames, so that way Luigi doesn't turn around at the end of the level. Alright, so in this cutscene here, Toad is going to say that some guy named Nabbit has stolen his double favorite stuff. And we have to go and rescue, and we have to go and catch Nabbit. You can go and catch Nabbit, and your reward you get from catching Nabbit is a P acorn. It allows you, which is a super acorn that allows you to fly infinite times. So there's some levels where using the P acorn has some pretty cool strats, but unfortunately it takes way too long to catch Nabbit, so it's just not worth it. You'll see some really cool P acorn strats used in the 100% run, as catching Nabbit is required for the 100% category. Instead, we're just gonna move on. Here, we're gonna do 2-3. Again, it's a faster level than 2-2. It's also a little bit easier here. This is a dark level where you have to, well, it's like supposedly hard to see, but when you play this level many times, then you kind of like memorize where everything is within the level itself. So overall, that wasn't so bad. But now we have the next level, 2-Tower, and it's a very technical level. It's probably one of my favorite levels to practice whenever it goes well. So let's see how it goes. It's a bit of a hard strat at the end. Let's see if I can get it. If I mess up, then I'm probably dead. Alright, very good. You seeing I'm doing all these spin jumps right there? Sometimes I do these spin jumps not just for show, but also that a spin jump is the height of a triple jump, and so for a lot of tricks in this game, that extra height does make a pretty big difference. So the boss of every tower is Boom Boom, and you just jump on him 3 times, just like in Mario 3. And there you go. From every tower past World 1, Kamek powers up Boom Boom to make him do something different, to make it seem like it's a harder fight, but yeah, no thanks. That one in particular, Boom Boom like jumps multiple times, I guess. I don't really know. Alright, so here's probably the worst part of the category. I have to get past this bridge here. And as I get across this bridge, there's a Goomba and a Fire Bro, and my goal is to make it across this bridge without getting hit by any of the 2 enemies. There's also an acorn there that I could pick up, and technically faster to avoid, but you can pick it up just for safety. So if I run into these guys, then that just means I got unlucky. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so I got the acorn. Not a big deal. It only loses 6 seconds. Oh, okay. Unfortunate. Well, sorry guys, no world record pace run here today. So if you're gonna run to any of these enemies, then it is faster to run to the Fire Bro. It is a faster fight than the Goomba. So you can see how much time this loses if you have to fight these enemies. Pretty unfortunate. But now, wow, this is really unfortunate. Okay, never had to fight. Haven't had a situation where I have to fight both these enemies in a run in a long time. So, okay, so we're off to a pretty rough start, unfortunately. But it does happen when you're doing world record attempts. Then this is actually a huge reset point. It is pretty common to reset at this part of the run multiple times. But that's just what we have to deal with here. Okay, so that was actually a pretty tight part of the level. That second half of this level was actually like really tight. I made that I made that like easier than it actually is. and that is taking advantage of Luigi's floating mechanics. And I'm actually going to do something a little bit odd here. I'm actually going to do this level twice. This level has a secret exit, and I'm actually going to get the secret exit of this level. This seems a little strange because this is an all castles run, and normally when you think of all castles, you think of a warpless run, essentially. But there is a particular reason, and well, I'll explain it later when it actually becomes relevant. But for now, this will actually help us save time later on in the run. Keep in mind that we have 2- secret unlock, and there's a particular purpose for it later on. Okay, 2-6. So 1-3 introduces rolling hills. 2-6 reintroduces them. Since we're playing as Luigi, there's more of a benefit to these rolling hills, which, as you can see right here, preserving the momentum of the rolling hills carries over to when I'm flying like this. So you can actually see how fast I'm flying from spin jumping from these rolling hills. And over the course of this level, this saves probably 3 seconds. It's a pretty big deal. Okay, 2-castle. In a 100% run, this level is pretty difficult, but since we're not getting star coins, then all we gotta do is just fly through this level. Normally there's a lot of these like different cycles here, but this is the power of the Super Acorn, where you can just fly over things. I wouldn't say it's as powerful as the cape from Super Mario World. That's for one. Something else to note is that I am jumping and gliding as my first movement for every transition, and that's so I can gain max speed quicker by a few frames each time. This is the Morton Koopa fight. Morton Koopa Jr. He sends out this giant Pokey, and you're supposed to wait for Morton to like hammer all the Pokey's body parts, and you have to dodge all the body parts while you're waiting. But with the Acorn, you can just fly over the Pokey and hit Morton. Now, there's actually a faster strat in this fight where you can actually damage boost through the Pokey and then hit Morton. And you save a second, but that means I have to re-equip Acorn, because I do need the Acorn for the next level coming up. And so that ends up being slower overall. That's true, the cape is very OP. Alright, so now we have a split path between Worlds 3 and 4. You can do one of the worlds and they both take you to the next world, World 5. But since this is all castles, we have to do both of these worlds. So I'm actually going to start off by doing World 4, Frosted Glacier. Because if I do Frosted Glacier first, then it's going to allow me to save about 8 seconds in World 3 later on. In case you haven't figured it out, okay, nice. That bruisers in this game do not have favorable hitboxes, so sometimes I can get hit by that bruiser, and it would be a sad day. But as you can probably tell, this category, especially, is made up of these little things that add up over the course of the run. That is how we get this category to be as optimized as we got it to be. Alright, so this next level is easier with Luigi as far as movement is concerned, but I'm actually doing this level as Nabbit because the fastest time that you get at the end of the level is a 77 at the end, if you look at the in-game timer on the top right of your screen. And something and another quirk about Nabbit is that Nabbit cannot get fireworks at all. So as you can see, I got 77. I would have got fireworks there if I was playing as Luigi, and that would have lost me 15 seconds. Whenever you get fireworks, you get this cutscene. Toad gives you an item. Depending on whichever double-digit number it is, corresponds to whatever item Toad gives you. 77 gives you an acorn, which is nice for safety, but hopefully the run doesn't go that bad. But again, more taking advantage of the mechanics of the Super Acorn here in this level. Wall jumping on this thing saves about a few frames over riding the platform up to the top. So it's all these little things that I go for in order to save time. Now here's Boom Boom on ice, where I think he's gonna jump a lot. I don't really know. The point is, we just fight him the same way every single time. Just like that. We got these nice little cutscenes right here where it shows the castle getting more and more evil looking. And even the 80% run, we're skipping a lot of the game. It's still routed that we see all three of these cutscenes no matter what we do. So we no longer get so we don't have any more cutscenes. Well, at least there's not very many cutscenes past this point now. So the rest of the game is just gameplay from here on out. That's kind of one of the downsides about this game as a speedrun. Especially the 80% run, where there's quite a bit of cutscenes early on, but once you get past a certain point, then the rest of the run becomes a lot less of a slog. Something else about Nabbit is that sometimes there are levels where it doesn't matter which level you use between Luigi and Nabbit, as they both take the same exact amount of time to beat the levels. However, Nabbit has a faster flightable animation by Luigi by just about a few frames, which is kind of hilarious. So in those situations, I am using Nabbit. Alright, so I got an acorn from that ring right there. You can avoid it. However, that means that I have to avoid that acorn every single time I pass by that ring. So it ends up not being faster to avoid that acorn. So again, another level where I'm using Nabbit because the fastest time at the end of the level, I get a 77 at the end. And now we have our first ghost house. So ghost houses in this game have, they're supposed to be, normally in ghost houses in Mario games, they're supposed to be like these complex levels that like are supposed to trick you into making the players get lost. That was a little crazy. Okay, I have to okay, my cycle is off now, so I have to kind of improvise here. Okay, we're good. It is pretty easy to die here if you make one mistake, but thankfully I was able to recover out of that. Ghost houses in this game, in Mario games in general, are supposed to be like these complex levels that trick the players into getting lost. But ghost houses in this game in particular are actually pretty straightforward. I guess the reason is probably because they couldn't figure out how to make the levels complex within a 100-second time limit. But it works out for us. But now we're heading off into Wendy's castle. And Wendy's Castle is kind of like the speedrunning level, because the objective of this level is you're supposed to run really fast past these thwomps here. And then there's a thwomp later on that I have to get past here. Like this. This is that turnaround that I just did right there is faster than doing 2 wall jumps over those set of blocks. It saves a second. Now we're fighting Wendy. Wendy has a bit of awkward timing on when to hit her. So what I usually do is I hang her around where she's going to get back up from her shell, and then take it a little bit safe and wait for about half a second. Like this. Kind of stall in the air for a little bit. Just like that. And now we are done with World 4. So the next world after this would be World 5, as that's where the next level would take you. And in like a true warpless run, that's what you would do. But since this is all castles, we do have to go back and do World 3. That's what we're going to do. Something I did not point out, there was actually like 2 opportunities that I skipped over to talk about this. But you see these Cooligans right here? I'm actually delaying my movement a little bit. That way I don't run into these Cooligans. You don't want to initiate a fight with these Cooligans at all. Their fight is pretty bad. They don't have favorable hitboxes, so it sucks to fight them. So I grabbed that Baby Yoshi, and this is actually the reason why going to World 4 first saves time over going to World 3 first. As I'm going to use this Baby Yoshi. This is World 3, Sparkling Waters. It's a water world, and as you can probably guess, there are water levels within Sparkling Waters. And Baby Yoshi is going to allow us to swim pretty fast. And it saves quite a lot of time within the next level from here. The first level here I'm using Nabbit, because if I'm using Luigi, then I have to carry Baby Yoshi all the way through this whole level. And the flight pool animation with Baby Yoshi is longer. So it's quicker to use Nabbit here. Now here's the reason why Baby Yoshi is really useful. And this is going to be his only use. Just like that. And then I let go of Baby Yoshi because I don't need him anymore. If you carry Baby Yoshi through more levels, then he has this like weird delay where he has to catch up to you in the map, so it takes longer to start a level when you have Baby Yoshi on the map. So that alone it makes it worth going out of your way to get Baby Yoshi. That saves 20 seconds within the level. So here, in this level, is the biggest benefit with Nabbit. As you can see right here, Nabbit can just go through these skewers. Well, otherwise, if you're doing this level as Luigi, you have to wait for a bunch of different cycles. So this saves quite a lot of time as Nabbit. Nabbit just does not care. Alright, this is the same fight as the fight in Horrendous Tower, except without ice, and it's on water this time. We just fight him the same way. Just like that. Okay, coming up is the Ghost Ship. Makes a return from Super Mario World. It's not really the same level. Not really a whole lot to say about the Ghost Ship, with the exception of the fact that it's a lot easier to do this level as Nabbit, as otherwise if you're doing this level as Luigi, you have to kind of be wary of where the boos are. And then also, falling in the water, it means bad news, because in the water there are these rip-on fish that will just pull in on you. Okay, so now we have a choice between 3-3 and 3-4 now. I'm gonna do 3-3. It's a bit of a harder level than 3-4 with normal strats, but it does save about 4 seconds over 3-4. However, recently we found out that 3-4 actually has the potential to be faster than 3-3, but unfortunately much more difficult, because that involves getting a penguin suit in 3-4. The penguin suit would allow you to save about 3 seconds in 3-Castle. However, you do have to re-equip Acorn at the end of World 3 afterward. Okay, we're back. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Alright, we're gonna continue in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, sorry about that. My internet went out for about 15-ish minutes there. Very unfortunate. Can't believe it had to happen. But we're gonna go ahead and continue here. I greatly apologize, ladies and gentlemen, to have to do that, but technical difficulties, you know. But anyway, so that was 3-5. Again, another water level. It's a vertical water level, which means that if I kept Baby Yoshi all the way up to this level, it would save time, but it doesn't save a lot of time, which means that overall you end up losing time for keeping Yoshi all the way up to 3-5. Now we're up to 3-Castle, and 3-Castle is one of the only levels within the run where it does not actually matter which level you use between Nabbit or Luigi. A lot of people like to use Nabbit because this water section is easier to go through with Nabbit. You have less of a risk of losing your power-up. However, I use Luigi because the movement for both this room and the first room are easier. So I just prefer the more consistent way. Alright, so now we're about to fight Larry Koopa. Here we go. Don't worry. We're still good. My next runs have some pretty generous estimates, so I should be able to finish all 3 runs on time, assuming that I don't have any more mishaps. But yeah, again, I greatly apologize. Alright, so that was World 3 completed, and now with all 4 worlds completed, you may think that the next level for me to go to is the next level, which is 5-Airship, and that is the next level after beating 4-Castle and 3-Castle. However, that secret exit that I got from 2-4 way back, this is where it starts to become useful. So, 5-Airship is this really long 3-minute auto-scroller, followed by a really boring boss fight, and also really long cutscenes. And so, that's terrible. we don't want to deal with that. And so, going out of your way to get the secret exit and backtracking all the way to do this level it saves more time than if you were just to do 5-airship. This saves about a minute. So instead, what we have here is a really short level. Just like this. Much faster than doing 5-airship. Now we're going to be moving on to World 5 now. Now, World 5 is the shortest world of the run. You only do 4 levels in this world. The first level, 5-1, has a bit of a recent strat. I got a little bit nervous there. I was a little worried if more technical difficulties were going to happen, but let's not jinx it. Anyway, 5-1 has a recently new strat, not featured from when I ran this last year, or 2 years ago. So in 5-1, there are these vines that you jump off of to go through the level. However, recently, somebody found out that if you hold neutral as you're swinging from these vines, then you actually preserve your speed. And this saves about 3 seconds. Let's see if I can get this. So as I am jumping from these vines, as you can see, I am letting go of the D-pad. Just like that. It's a little bit tricky to get down at first when you first start to learn this, but it's a really cool trick, and like probably the biggest time save that we have found within a level for the first time in like 2 years. Alright, so now we're doing 5-2, and any percent you do 5-3, because you want to get to 5-tower as quick as you can. But this is actually the only tower that we don't do within the run, which is good for us because 5-tower in general is a really difficult level, as you have to do a really difficult skip. So normally in any percent, well, in any percent you do 5-tower and then you go inside the haunted forest, do the ghost house and get and do the secret exit in order to get to World 7. But we do a much different route here this time around. The normal progression within this world is you do one of these levels, go to 5-tower, and then go through the haunted forest. There's a ghost house, and then there's a choice between 2 of the hardest levels within the game, and then RNG. And if you get the secret exit in 5-2, you just skip all of that. Now we're already almost done with World 5. Here in 5-6, there's a bit of a hard strat I'm going to go for. Hopefully I get it. Like that. That saves about 2 seconds over the more safer way. So it's a pretty difficult strat. Alright, so now we're going up to 5-Castle. And 5-Castle has these swinging chains, and they have similar mechanics to the swinging vines, so you're gonna see me take advantage of the same trick that I did in 5-1 here. A little bit difficult because if I mess up then I die. Ooh, that was close. Okay, got past the part that I would have died at, and that's good. So for this level, that saves like 2 seconds. So when this trick got found, it opened up quite a lot of room to save time within this category for 5 seconds within World 5, and that is in 5 seconds for a new time save is huge. Alright, Iggy Koopa. First semi-random fight. It is somewhat consistent in the way that you fight him is relatively the same. He comes out of these pipes here 4 times, and how long he comes out of these pipes is semi-random, so your time out of this level can vary by a couple seconds. I call him Idiot Koopa because he's an idiot. What I did there, what I did in the beginning of the fight is the reason why I use Nabbit in this level. You jump into the fireballs. Otherwise, if I do that with Luigi, I get hit. And Iggy won't come down from the ceiling unless all the fireballs are off screen. And so by running into the fireballs with Nabbit, he jumps down earlier. There is also another strat that's like insanely hard, where you can actually hit Iggy while he's on the ceiling by just jumping into him. But that's insanely hard. Okay, now we're up to World 6. In my opinion, World 6 is probably the hardest world in the run. There's a lot of difficult cycles that we have to make within the level. The first 2 levels are not bad, but past that is when World 6 starts to get kind of hard. So we have some pretty straightforward levels here. The beginning part of this level is why I'm using Nabbit. Saves a little bit of time. So not a lot to say about the next level, 6-2. The next level, however, 6-Tower, there is something to explain about. One of the things about New Super Mario Bros. Games in general that I really like compared to speedrunning the classic Mario runs is that in the classic Mario runs, they utilize glitches in order to go through levels as fast as they can. The new Super Mario Bros. Games have 0 glitches whatsoever, and so all the levels come down to how fast can you beat a level within like basic knowledge of the game. 6-Tower has one of the few exploits, if you want to call it that. So there's a part where I have to reveal 2 hidden blocks in order for a Groll to reveal an opening for me to go through. But I'm going to go through the hidden blocks without hitting a single one of them. Or at least one of them. At least one of them. You're going to see that in a little bit here. Just like that. Oh! Okay, so did not mean to do that, however. So we're just gonna go ahead and head on out. Alright, well, so normally, if I wasn't so bad at video games... Okay, that's not good right there. Alright. This climb's gonna be a little bit slower now. But that's okay. This is why we have acorns. So what I did there is, if I fly at a very specific time, then I actually go through those hidden blocks. It did not look like it, but there are hidden blocks there that I just flew right through. You're supposed to use those hidden blocks to reveal, and then allow the girls to roll on those blocks. Wow, this is... and then they'll break those blocks there in the middle, so that way I can actually go through. And by going through those hidden blocks, we call it hidden block clip, and by doing that trick, I save about 6 seconds. Fortunately, since I went in the pipe, I didn't save those 6 seconds, but it's still better than waiting past the waiting for the grolls. So this is why. So this is one of the benefits of this category being pretty friendly for marathon. Is I have these backup acorns in case things like that happen. Nice. Bit of a technical level right there. Before that particular movement, this level was like painful to grind in runs. This level became a really fun level to do. Now, World 6 in general has pretty complicated routing. There's two different routes to World 6. One of them is the route that I'm doing right now, where I'm actually going to get the secret exit of 6-5, and then there's another route where you get the secret exit of 6-Tower. This one, for both these levels, you do this, for both routes, you do the same amount of levels through World 6, but this route ends up being a lot faster because the secret exit of 6-Tower takes you to a level where it's like a really long semi-auto-scroller. And this secret exit allows us to keep these switches red, and you want these switches to be red at the end of this tower. There's 2 towers within this level. Okay. How am I gonna do this? Okay, not bad. A little bit unfortunate in the beginning. I was supposed to get a wall jump off of that ledge there, but I didn't quite get it, so it kind of threw off my cycle. We're about to do a difficult fight here. We're about to do a quick kill of this fight. Hopefully I can get it. Nah, I did not get it. Okay, so now we have to fight him this way. Alright, we're gonna do it this way. So what I was trying to do was fly up to the Sumo Bro as early as I can in order to knock him over, which I failed to do, of course. So pretty unfortunate. 10 seconds lost there. So far, World 6 isn't really going very well, and this is just the nature of how World 6 would go if you don't have a good World 6. You bleed time pretty fast if you make mistakes in World 6. Like I said, it's the hardest world. If you ever watch me do attempts of this game, World 6 is easily my most practiced world of this game within almost every category. So the reason we do this particular route through World 6 is so we can get to the back entrance of this castle. There's 2 ways to enter this level of this castle. One of the unique things about this level. And the back entrance is, of course, a lot faster than going through the front entrance of the level, as you just go straight to the boss. It takes like 5 or 6 seconds to get to the boss. This is Roy Koopa. And if you run 100% of this game, then Roy Koopa is going to be your favorite boss fight because you fight him twice. And that's because in the 100% run, you actually do 6-Castle twice. Because in order to get all the star coins, you have to do both the front and the back entrance. It's just the way the star coins are placed. Okay, so that is 6-Castle, and then now this is the part where, if you've watched an 80% run of this game, then these levels start to get very familiar now. Okay, so we're heading on to World 7. Coming up is 7-1, and 7-1 features probably my least favorite level within the whole game. Pretty difficult. There's a really hard jump towards the end of the level, and hopefully I get it. You got it! That is, you have a few frames to make that jump right there. If you jump a little bit too early or a little bit too late, then you're gonna get hit by those fuzzies and die. So that's definitely a pretty scary thing. There's also a faster way of doing this level by playing as Nabbit, but it's way too risky. It's not marathon safe. You see that more in the any percent run, because in any percent it's easier to get to 7-1 than it is to get to 7-1 in this category. So, most of the time you generally won't see people use 7-1 as Nabbit in an all castles run. 7-2, relatively straightforward. You just run. That's basically the nature of a lot of these Mario speedruns. Although, I do highly recommend checking out a 100% run of either this game or any of the new Super Mario Bros. Games, because 100% is actually, they're across all 5 games. They're really cool runs to watch. So this level, kind of hard to go through, and then also as well. Let's not ruin the surprise. But in basically almost every category within this game, this level is a make or break of whether you're going to get a good run or not. Okay, here we go. So the boss of this tower is Kamek. Great boss, fantastic boss, 0 RNG, purely scripted. Let's go. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Up, wow, okay. Well, I ruined the script. Unfortunate. Alright, well, that one was on me. I got a little bit too cocky there. Okay, the last hit is always in the middle. So just go to the middle, hit him. Just like that. Okay, so I was actually on pace to get the perfect fight, but got a little bit too cocky on myself there. So as you can probably see, this is a purely luck-based fight. You have to guess where Kamek's gonna spawn, and you have a 50% chance of getting the correct answer. And when you get the correct answer, then you have a good fight. If you don't get the correct answer, then you're going to bleed time. Just as amount of time that I bled when I was doing that fight. And then the third hit is always in the middle. So as long as you get the first 2 hits in, and you just go to the center and then hit them. So in most categories of this game, that is a make or break of whether you're going to PB or not. Alright, 7-Dash Castle. There's a pretty tight jump at the end of this level. We're gonna see how it goes. There's 2 parts within this level. The first part's easy, because you can either go fast or slow, and it doesn't matter, because you have to wait for this huge block to get out of your way. The next part, I'm actually going to go slow, and that's so I can get a good cycle as I make this really tight jump. Just like that. So that is hard, and I made that look. As if you make a mistake, it's really easy to get hit by those fire bars. Now we're fighting Ludwig, the last of the 7 Koopalings. Ludwig von Koopa. He has an attack phase where he's going to clone himself, and you have to guess which Ludwig is the right one. The correct Ludwig is the one that shoots the most fireballs, but with the acorn you can skip this attack phase entirely. Alright, so now the next level is an intermission level between World 7 and 8, the airship. So we did skip 5-airship, but we do have to do 7-airship. So in 7-airship, normally a really long auto-scroller, just like a lot of airships in Mario games. The first part of the airship, I can actually skip the auto-scroller, and that is to fly through it. However, it's a bit difficult. So we'll see how it goes. And we did it! You have to ride that huge cloud through the level normally, but foo-wee to that. Alright, so this part here is an auto-scroller, so we have to wait a little bit here. But we're gonna try and get to the pipe as early as we can. Like this. And now we have the Bowser Jr. fight. I'm actually gonna do the fight first, and then we're gonna explain how it goes. Nice. Okay, so that fight did look easy, but something to note about that fight in particular is that Bowser Jr.'s hitbox is not very favorable. It's extremely tiny in the direct center. So there's a lot of amazing, insane clips of people who run this game and New Super Mario Bros. U, where it looks like you hit Bowser Jr., but you just get either knocked out of Bowser Jr., you get hit, you go through him, and then when you make a mistake in this fight, then the fight just becomes a whole nightmare, as the fight just becomes more random than, even more random than Kamek without the acorn. Pretty nasty. Now we have a long cutscene. Everyone, the chat's really quiet. Make me feel a little bit lonely here. Alright, World 8, the final world. First level is 8-1, and 8-1 has these raining fireballs, and they are random. There's about 3 different patterns, 3 different fireball patterns. As Nabbit, you only have to worry about 2 of them, and it's a difference of 1 second. As Luigi, however, you have to worry about all 3 patterns, and there's strats for all 3 patterns. Otherwise, Luigi, it's a difference of 2 seconds. So we usually use Nabbits. Okay, so I got the worst out of the 3 patterns. You do have to wait for those fireballs in order to get an opening up to the pipe, as all of those blocks are coin blocks instead of breakable brick blocks. It's also worth noting that in the counterpart of this game, New Super Mario Bros. U, you actually take a different route through World 8. as there's a skip in the next level 8-2 that saves more time than doing 8-4. But in this game, 8-4 is a really short level. In Mario U, this is a long auto-scroller. Okay, pretty technical level right there. I actually did not expect to make one of the jumps that I made, so I wasn't actually ready for it. So I actually could have gotten a little bit screwed. But something to know about this level is that you don't want to play this level too fast or too slow, otherwise the cycle is gonna be off. So that actually would have been pretty bad for me, as I played that a little faster than my usual attempts at 8-4. Alright, this level, you have to ride these elevators through the level, but with the acorn you can just skip these elevators. In Mario U, elevator skip is really hard, but elevator skip is a lot easier in this game. Alright, nice. So that jump that I just made right there is actually really tight. I jumped low enough so that I don't hit the bomb up on the top, and I jumped high enough so I don't hit the spark. So you have a few pixels to work with that particular jump there, as the spark's hitbox is actually really small. It's only in the front of the spark that's active. You can go through the back of the spark. Now off to the final level. Here we go. So the first room of this last level, as long as you move consistently the same way, then this first room is always consistent. However, I'm going to do a bit of a hard strat here. Like that. So you can use Bowser Jr. to you can hang on to Bowser Jr. on the right side, and Bowser Jr. moves faster than you. And so you take advantage of that to just gain a little bit more speed. This actually saves 2 seconds over the other strat. And now we have the corridor here. These fireballs are always the same. And now we have the hardest fight in the game. Let's do this. Oh my god, how did I do it? I just can't believe it. So, because Luigi jumps really high in this game, then a simple jump just makes it over Bowser. Oh, but what's this? What are they doing? Well, that's not good. Guess I better go save the princess quick. Alright, let's go. Okay, so there's the princess. Time to save her, right? What? What just happened? Ah, he's back. Oh my goodness. He's really huge now. Alright, so, something to explain here. What I just did there is fireball skip. If you fly up as Bowser shoots his first fireball, then he skips shooting his second fireball. Now, what I have to do here is I have to, whenever I hit Bowser, I have to keep the clown car. That is sometimes hard to do. And if I keep the clown car for all 3 phases of this fight, then it saves a whole bunch of time. Okay, time's coming up right now. Time, 1:03. Yikes. So the time that I got 2 years ago was 1:02:38. Didn't quite beat it, but overall, I feel like I played better than my run from 2 years ago. It's just RNG didn't quite work out in my favor, and also on top of that, the internet problem. Yeah. So, unfortunately, since we lost 15 minutes due to my having to pause the run for my internet to come back, I think we're ready to just move on to the next game. So thank you guys so much for watching New Super Luigi U, and I'll see you guys on to the next game, New Super Mario Bros. 2, and I'm really excited to run it, as it's my favorite game as of 2020. So stick around.